All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So at the beginning of this project, I actually started with Cleta Evans. Cleta Evans is a second grade teacher over here at Kistler Elementary School. And a couple weeks ago, she actually ended up with having a baby. Um, yeah, she is fostering to adopt a baby. So the last couple of weeks, 4 weeks, she's actually been out with her baby, and she has not been here a lot throughout the week too as well. She's starting to come back, but she's only doing half days. So I actually am now here with Mandy Tomlin. Mandy is another second grade teacher over here at Kessler Elementary. She works right next to me. She is what, second year? Second year here at Kistler in second grade, and she's been doing a fantastic job. Um, and I'm just really thankful that she is here to help me out too as well. So Mandy has asked that she stay off the camera. She is here. Can you say? She is here. But yeah, just with all this post conference reflection too as well, with everything with Kalita, then here with Mandy, I was able to observe her too as well. So I thought I would just talk to her, touch base with her too as well. So she's going to work a little bit on her own things, and then I will talk to her, but I thought I would reflect a little bit about my time with Kalita. So when I started this pre-conference journey with Kalita, I kind of touched base with her about things that she wanted to work on. Her main concern was with fluency. Um, with fluency, she was she worked on a lot of skills and strategies. She had a lot of repetition and a lot of practice. And my observations, what I observed with her, I really liked how she used a lot of the high frequency words. She used a lot of the kindergarten, first and second grade, hitting hard on, yeah, making sure that they knew their sight words by memory. Now, she did do that daily, except on vocabulary days. And then also, she did work with every group on that too as well. Every group was probably close to 25 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. So I was only able to see two groups with her, but overall, I thought that she did a really good job with her sight word practice. I encouraged her a lot just to incorporate those sight words in her small group. Sometimes you can't get to those sight words in whole group, so I thought maybe she could use some practice, whether that is by doing a color by word, a sight word coloring worksheet, whether that is a fly swatter game where you see a word and then you have to swat it. And she also liked the idea too of just doing a sight word bingo too as well from time to time. So I thought that was a great incorporation of fluency with her words too as well by sight, and then also with the repetition too as well. Another thing that I thought was cool was looking over my notes here. Um, yeah, looking over my notes, I did like that she leveled her books too as well. She used some books that were either higher, benchmark, or below. So she was trying to make sure that she reached a lot of her kids with where they were at. Now, my concern for her was, is she reaching all the kids where they're at? With where our help and support is, we have a lot of kids that get pulled out at different times, and she had some groups where she had kids at different levels. And so that was a concern. She had some that were really low, and then she had some that were kind of in the mid too as well. So with some of those challenging books, she said that she was seeing some growth, and I did see her data, and she has been making a lot of positive growth. But that was my concern, is if she was incorporating the books that she needed to incorporate at their reading level. However, I did like the use of using books that had color and pictures. and then also using some difficult texts. And what I found interesting from our last night's reading, over the weekend's reading, about kind of finding some difficult texts to challenge them. And that was mainly going with the poetry and the writing. We do want to challenge our kids, to make them think. And then incorporating questions to at the end, we do want to also boost that comprehension. So I think some of those kids in some of her groups, they were there. However, I did think though that some were not, and some were still learning how to read. So those practice too as well, with her focusing on the different sounds within words, how to decode multisyllabic words. I think that's another area that she can work on, with multisyllabic. And I gave her some suggestions on just practicing with decoding too as well. Finding those spelling patterns and base words too as well, and being able to pull it out. So with a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, her kids are going to continue to get better and continue to strengthen. And especially with the same book, I liked how she also incorporated a book daily too as well. It wasn't something that she read a book and she moved on, but it was something that it was a lot of repetition with what they read. They read it the first time through together, and then she went back through and she read it again. So I did like that as well. I did like also how she had them look for some spelling patterns too as well within the readings, incorporating what we were working on. I had in my notes here that she worked on the aw sound. A couple weeks ago, we were working on the AU and the AW sound. So with her having the kids read some of the text, I thought that was beneficial. However, some of those texts that she uses does not incorporate with what we use in our curriculum. So I thought that would be kind of useful if maybe she worked on just working on the decodable book, that we work on in our whole group time, and then incorporating it as more additional practice during our small group time too as well. And then finally, I also did like that she worked on the vocabulary. Some of our vocabulary terms are hard. So with her one lesson every Thursday, I like how she focuses in on going over the vocabulary terms, but then also and their meanings, but then also kind of having more of an interactive game too as well, where she reads them the definition and she allows the kids to engage by finding the correct vocabulary terms. So I thought that was kind of cool. That was really beneficial as well for the kids, and it kind of gave them a good review as they prepared for their test the next following day. So I think that was pretty much it. I think for her, a lot of it is just continuing with a lot of practice. My concern also moving forward for her, she is a teacher that likes to use a lot of packets. She gives the kids packets to do when they're not working with her. Packets can be overwhelming. I did see with spelling, she did try to do spelling with her groups. However, what was concerning for her, and I did make a comment to her about it, she only worked with one kid at a time. So when she would have a kid practice their spelling words, and she would give the whiteboard and the marker, she would have the kids just work on one kid at a time, working on the spelling word, and then having the kids all together read that spelling word. I suggested, why not have every kid work on it too as well? And actually, I'm going to share with Miss Tomlin another idea, suggestion that I have used in the past that I found really beneficial too, moving forward. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But overall, I liked that she gave verbal praise, especially for those kids that were struggling. That was really cool to see too as well. But what I would like to see for her is to continue using those skills that she's working on, but then also kind of get out of her wiggle room, like her her comfortability area. With the packets, I think her kids, they do need structure and they do need routine. However, though, I think they also need more of a hands-on approach, especially with their spelling words, yeah, or even their sight words too as well. There's different ways to engage them with that as well for practice. So overall, I thought she did a good job. Always there's room for improvement and growth, but it's always neat to see what teachers do in their small group time. I feel that as teachers, we don't really get wiggle room as much throughout the day because everything is so scripted with our instruction. We do have science and social studies that gives us a little bit of free wiggle room, but with the changes with ECRI, everything is scripted and we need to do everything a correct way with our hand motion and our hand movements too as well. And then also with reading, I mean, we can do certain things at different ways, but again, you have so much to get done within a given amount of time too as well. So it was kind of neat to see two different teachers and their approaches, especially one who has been here for many years. And now I got to see another teacher and her perspective too with observing a group that she worked with too as well. So that was kind of cool to see. But I wish her all the best as she transitions back into her classroom. Right now, her biggest issue is behaviors and getting back into the routine of things. She doesn't want to come back, and I don't blame her, as her baby is probably 5 weeks old. And it's more of a transition back and kind of weaning away from that baby, but a concern that that baby won't be here with her for the future. So it's a big transition for her. All right. So moving on to Miss Tomlin. Sorry. Yeah, I got to observe her last week. I came Monday or Tuesday. I came back. Yeah, I came Monday. She graciously allowed me quickly after we had our conversation for me to come and observe her, and that was great because I had a teacher during that time that takes my lowest level kids, and she sat in and watched my kids as I came over quickly to observe Mandy, and I was really excited to see that too. So we really didn't get to talk much. I just kind of was like, hey, we're going to make some observations here and see what you do. So I got to observe her one group, her highest level group, and that was 3 kids. And they worked on a passage, reading a passage. So, Mandy, question for you. What is your biggest concern with your small group reading? Is there something that